Welcome to the Power Portals of Avalon. Now, this location, this portal is my favorite to talk about because there's so many layers to this place. I mean, it's like there's so much magic, there's so much mysticism. Ladies and gentlemen, the Glastonbury Tor. And this place is like so supernatural, it's ridiculous. Crazy things happen up there when you're there. And it's undeniable. And that's what one of my stories is going to be about in this video, because I'm always doing a story time, Gospel of Marie. And I'd love to share with you the significance of these photos behind me. But first of all, let's talk about Glastonbury Tor in its entirety. So the reason why this place is so significant is because the inspiration, the activating force, as it was for me to step forward and now take the Tablets of Light Egypt into the Tablets of Light Avalon for good reason. Because just to keep it in a kind of like nutshell vibe, you know, it's like the Glastonbury is very much the divine feminine, which we know, Avalon, and the energy of Egypt is very much fire, and it's very much masculine. So the two worlds meet, and there's this divine feminine and masculine balance between the two. And over my years of working with Egypt extensively, going back there time and time again, taking my tours and everything like that, only recently did I start to come to Avalon, and that started to really bring the significance and the balance of the divine feminine and masculine within. And, you know, it kind of started to kind of like activate my waters to balance out my fire. And then as I did that, coming to Avalon activated my divine feminine so powerfully that my power in Egypt just amplified. And I was just, I mean, it makes perfect sense, right? Of course it would. But at the time I was like, wow. So that is why I always say Tablets of Light has a counterpart, Egypt and Avalon. So that's the significance of my work. I mean, it's all of our work really, isn't it? It's about the divine balance, right? So this group that I've put together is a priestess group, and it's happening in Online's Gate Portal. Now that's very important in itself, because for me, the origin source code of the Lionsgate portal always comes from Egypt for me, right? And I think we're all in agreement of that. So for me to actually be in Avalon, anchoring those frequencies deeply into the divine feminine, do you know what I mean? Through Egypt makes perfect sense to me, which is why if you're being called to somewhere specifically this year, whether it's Avalon or not, you know, pay great attention to that. In fact, go and start tapping into that now and seeing where spirit wants to take you, because it will be deeply significant. Every Lionsgate portal is incredibly powerful. We get that. But this year is going to be exponentially so, because it's almost like the final reclamation of power, because it's the balance. So wherever you're being called to, pay attention to it, even start working on it now, because you are exactly where you're meant to be. And that needs your full attention. So this year is going to be a game changer. So the reason I also love Glastonbury Tor is because for me, it is an absolute reflection of the Great Pyramids technology and the Great Sphinx. Now, I've said it before in previous videos, but just to give you an idea of like, you know, what I'm talking about, the Glastonbury Tor, when you look at the pictures, it's always depicted, whether it's painted or whatever, Glastonbury Tor, and then the well, the chalice well just in front of it, right? Now, when you look at Egypt, the most famous picture of Egypt is the pyramids, okay, and then the Sphinx in front. Now, not many people know this, or maybe you do. The Great Pyramid, okay, is 3 chambers, right? And everybody tends to overly focus on the King's Chamber, but I don't. I always go into the subterranean chamber. I feel that chamber is extremely important and powerful for good reason, because the subterranean chamber that goes underground in the Great Pyramid is known as Gaia's womb, okay? Because it's underground, but it's specifically known as Gaia's womb. It's also the entry point to the halls of Amenti, right? But that chamber is also known as the well, okay? See where I'm going with this, right? So of course the Great Sphinx also, you can access the halls of Amenti through the Great Sphinx, because also as well there's tunnels and things like that. So collectively putting them together in that technology. It's also a receiver and transmitter. Water, limestone creates the electricity. Do you know what I mean? And it's a massive portal, right? Well, let's sidestep to Glastonbury now. Let's go to the Tor. The white spring, the red springs, like the divine feminine and divine masculine waters that flow. Well, the flow from this here, which is water energy. Let's keep it simple. And it's also limestone and everything like that. And it's also a receiver and transmitter. And it's a place for lost souls, which is why Avalon was known as the Isle of the Dead, right? But the Great Pyramid is also the place for lost souls. They used to the souls would exit the pyramid on the side and like kind of like hook into the Milky Way and flow up to the stars, and they'd be carried off. Now that those kind of like ancient stories, they cross all cultures, you know. So, but I know that obviously the halls of Amenti is also accessed right here, and it's also the place for where souls come to pass through to the other world, underworld. Same with the Great Pyramid. So it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. So of course we have the water, we have the electricity, we have the supernatural activity, and they are major portals to the other side specifically. Now I could go on for days about the matched technology and synchronicities and all the things, but you get the idea, right? So on the Lionsgate portal, we will be in and around Avalon, but this is going to be the receiver and transmitter for the origin source codes for the Lionsgate portal that will come through the Great Pyramid and the Sphinx. So wherever you are, you'll be drawing that energy from Egypt, because Egypt is the origin site for all sacred sites, and then all were kind of like dovetailed out from there, right? So anyway, that's kind of like the Gospel of Marie. If it resonates, go with it. And this is going to be such a powerful time to be alive this year. And I'm so excited for wherever you might be on Lionsgate, because this is kind of like the vibe of what's going to be going on, right? You are going to be receiving and transmitting. So let's get into now Marie's story. I always share a story with these powerful portals that I share with you, because I mean, it's undeniable. There's magic all around, and there's major Heka and magic in Egypt given, but this is different. This is different. So now these pictures are going to make sense. So casting the scene, right, on a very, very, very long and intense but magical 9-day pilgrimage. I just got back from Egypt holding my groups, and I took myself straight off to Avalon to go on a solo retreat for 9 days. Right at the end, I got woken up at 3-4 o'clock in the morning by the mother saying, get up the Tor. Really don't like early mornings. Got up, decided to climb back into bed. And this happened 3 times because I was in denial. So they were like, get up now. So I ended up walking up this Tor at like 4 a.m. It was summertime. So I kind of walked up these steps. I took this picture, okay? And I walked up and I sat myself right up against the Tor there. Now, it's always super windy up here. Now, it's great to go up to the Tor in the daytime, but it's always very busy and a lot of things going on there. Go up there at night or go up there in the early hours of the morning. That's when you get the true essence of this place, right? So I come up there and I sit against the wall, and because like you can actually shelter yourself if you sit there. I'm the only person up there, bar one other priestess. She's down there doing her energy work, thinking she was the only person up there. We kind of had that priestess look going, morning, don't come over here. Morning, don't come over here. There was a silent agreement that went on. So she was on the other side and I was on this side, and we were doing our thing, right? So anyway, I sat cross-legged and I was sat up against the St. Michael's Church, which is what that is. And there's 2 entry points. So there's the stairways here and there's another one on the other side. So I was sat there opposite the stairs, and I was just keeping myself warm. And then all of a sudden, a man popped up in front of me, and I was like, wow, what's he doing up here so early in the morning? Earphones on, a big staff, gave me the biggest smile ever, which ignited this huge, I was so excited to see him. I don't know who this guy was, don't know him from a bar or soap, but I was like, morning, like weird, but not weird. So he said, morning, my love. And he comes up and I watch him, and he walks around the church 3 times. Now, you always know that's very much Druid activity. And I thought, this guy's Druid. This is really, really cool. So there's 3 of us now up on the Tor, power of 3, right? So anyway, he kind of sits up there and he does his thing. And then and he waves goodbye and off he goes. And I watch him go down the stairs right in front of me. No problem, right? So then I think, well, I'm really cold. I've been up here now. It's time for me to leave. So I get up and I go to find the steps. Truth, they're not in front of me. So I was like, huh? This is a very, very small service area here. You can't really get lost. So I walk around to the other side and I'm like, where's the steps? So I walk around the other side and I was like, huh? Completely spinning out now, because I'm just like, what? It wasn't even dark. It was summertime in the UK. It was light. So I walk around this church and I'm like, I can't find the steps. And then I had to sit there because I started to freak out a little bit. And I was like, okay, this is ridiculous. Like, I just saw the guy walk up the steps. He left. He's just walked around here 3 times. That priestess is still there. I'm still in planet Earth. What is going on? I sat there and then I couldn't find the exit to get off the Tor. So I sat down again and I did some breathing, and I was just like, oh my God, this is so strange. Anyway, did some breathing to ground because I was legit freaking out, stood up, and then I looked. And as I looked across the countryside, this happened. I shit you not, this happened. I've blown this picture up. I took this with my phone and I'm stood there And I'm staring at it going, oh my God, look at the light there. That was like God's fingers, like shone down here, just one ray of light. And I was like, this is nuts. And I stood there and I'm staring at it and I'm like, wow. And then the other priestess copped it and she was like, oh my God. So we're both stood there. She's on the other side and we're both like, wow. And we're receiving this energy from this golden ray, which kind of took me off me spazzing out the fact that I couldn't get off the tour. So all of a sudden I watched this. Oh my goodness. And I took a moment and I was like, that was a gift from God, like literally. And I'm stood on this tour. And then I took a breath. I came away from that imagery and I was just like, that was a gift. That was amazing. And as I looked around, right in front of me was the steps. Right in front of me was the steps. Goosebumps as I speak this story. And I was like, no way. And as I walked down the steps, I started to giggle. And I started to laugh out so loud because it was almost like spirits got a great sense of humor. And what the message was, is I'd come to Avalon. Now, this is before I'd actually put the word out that I was doing groups to Avalon, okay? This was all about Marie at the time. And it was like I couldn't get off the tour because Avalon's not letting me go. I'd stepped through the mists. I'd entered into the ancient times of Avalon. And now and that was also a place of my birth as well, just down the road, not too far away. So it was like, almost like Avalon went, yeah, you're in here now. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to leave this realm, not in a bad way, you've come home. I mean, it gets me quite emotional, actually. And I was like, oh my God. So as I stepped down, I kind of came down like a little child. I was hop, skipping and jumping and laughing, going, that was crazy wild. That experience plus this picture, I was just like, this is madness. And this was at the end of the tour. So it was almost like Avalon, well, she gifted me. And that's just one of the stories. I can share with you so many, but that was huge supernatural activity up on the tour. So it's very important that we go up there like early in the morning or at night or whatever, when there's not many people there. That's the kind of thing that you will experience at the tour. And you're telling me that I didn't go into another world? Totally did. Totally did. So that's the magic of Avalon. So yeah, I hopefully we'll walk together in Avalon one day. And if it resonates with you, get a hold of me and let's walk together, because we've got a beautiful, what I call a girl band. I pulled my girl band together. We're walking the lands of Avalon. There will be men's groups and men and women's groups coming in the future. But just this year is very much about the divine feminine. So if any of this resonates and you're feeling the call to join the movement, please do. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed my storytelling and watch out for the next video. Thank you for watching. Always. Peace.